Welcome back. Thank you so much for watching the first video. If you haven't, please go and watch it. It's all of our cameras. Today, we're all about lenses, and I'm back with Stuart at the CVP Creator Hub, and we're going to find out what lenses we can use for videography.
Cool.
Stuart, again, as a photographer, can I use my photography lenses for video?
You can use them, they might not be suitable. So first thing we need to think about is whether you're using a zoom that has a variable aperture. Most kit lenses with a digital SLR or with a mirrorless camera will be variable aperture. Those aren't really suitable for video, namely because when you zoom in or zoom out, the aperture changes, so it gets darker or lighter. What you want to look at is using something like a constant aperture zoom. So whenever I'm kitting someone up for everyday video shooting, I'd always look at essentially very similar lenses to what you'd use in photo, but making sure that they're all high quality and are constant aperture as well. So the first thing I'd look at is having two zooms, one wide, one standard. You might want to look at a tele as well, something like a 70-200. What I've got here, by the way, is the Canon 15-35. This is an f2.8 lens. It's an RF mount lens, a great everyday, what I'd call a vox pop lens. That's for interviewing people out on the street, but it's also a really nice wide. 24-70, classic. Everyone needs a 24-70. This will be your everyday lens. It will probably stick on the front of your camera when you're shooting all of the time. Okay. Now, one of the things that you need to think about is what happens when it comes to an interview. You might want a shallower depth of field. You might not be in a particularly interesting environment, which a lot of videographers, unfortunately, will find themselves having to film in an office space, somewhere like that. That's when you're going to want to look at using a prime to get the best image quality and to put the background completely out of focus. This is a 50mm 1.2. You can also use an 85 with a full frame camera. That works really well as well. The other thing to think about is maybe one dedicated prime for wide as well. If you're shooting on a gimbal, a 24mm is a really nice focal length to use. So that's what I would use when it comes to everyday video shooting. One thing to also just think about is whether a lens is parfocal or not. This big lens that I'm holding right now is a 24-105. It's f2.8, it's made by Canon. It's designed as a video first lens. And the reason I say that is that it's parfocal, and parfocal means that it holds its focus all the way through the zooming range. A lot of other lenses, even quite costly ones, don't always stay in focus at the wide end compared to the tele end. You can offset that a little bit by using autofocus on the camera, but if you don't want to use that, always go for a parfocal lens. They are quite expensive, but they are really a must-have if you're shooting documentary and you want to reframe quite frequently without having to change focus.
Okay. And on the subject of budget, how much would I be looking to spend on lenses, on these lenses?
These lenses here are top of the range. I'm going to be honest with you. They're all quite expensive. Some of them are about £2,500 each. However, you don't have to spend that. If you're looking at Canon as an example, they do make some budget versions of these lenses, which are really useful. They do a 28-75, and they also do a wide version as well that's f2.8. Very compact, around the £800 mark. Those are pretty good. Now, if you're shooting with a Sony camera or with a Panasonic L-mount camera, then you've actually got a wider variety of lenses to choose from because third-party manufacturers make lenses for them as well. So you could be looking at lenses that are either made by the manufacturer of the camera, or you can look at Tamron, Sigma, and other brands.
Amazing. And I'm very curious. So these are the photography sort of hybrid lenses. But there's obviously the cine lens range. Talk me through those.
Cool. So there are major differences with the cine lens. I'll compare two of them right now. A photo lens is designed first and foremost for photography, and therefore it's for autofocus. Okay, you can manually focus on these lenses, but it's what we call a fly-by-wire focus. It's not really actually focusing with this ring here. It's telling another ring inside it to focus. This is really great if you're want a really fast autofocus for photography, or if you're using continuous autofocus in video. That's why you would use a lens like this. Cine lenses are completely manual. They have a manual focus ring and a manual aperture ring. They also have a much longer focus throw. That means that focusing from near to far takes much longer on one of these lenses. It means you can be a lot more exact. You can be more creative with focus. You might want to change it in shot. So that's something that you get with a cine lens like this. The other thing with cine lenses are, they're not as, I'm going to say, as exact as photo lenses. Photo lenses have perfect edge-to-edge sharpness. They're designed for 50 megapixel sensors. In filmmaking, you might want something that feels a little bit more vintage, that has a bit more character, and that's where cine lenses come in. The one I'm holding right now is made by Thypoc. It's called a APS-C, and it has a vintage look. It's also very compact, this one here as well. The other difference that you'll find with photo lenses is that they're not measuring the aperture in f-stops. They use t-stops instead. It means transmission. An f-stop is a reference to the actual physical size of the aperture. T-stop is telling us how much light is going through the lens. They test it in a different way. So that's something to bear in mind as well, so when you're using perhaps a light meter.
Okay. And can I use a cine lens on a hybrid camera?
You can. This one here is for Sony E-mount.
Okay.
Now, most other cinema lenses that you see on the market that are perhaps been around for a bit longer will have this. It's called PL, big chunky mount here. This is designed for cine cameras at the high end of cinema. These are very, very strong, but they're quite big, quite heavy. But what's great is they can be adapted. So this just here is a adapter for PL. That lens goes on the front, and this one actually goes onto a Nikon camera. So you can put this lens onto this adapter and then onto a hybrid camera.
Okay.
Sure.
And how much, talking about budget again, how much would I be looking to spend on a cine lens?
On cine lenses. So cine lenses are where I think we see the biggest price differential between the traditional high-end glass and the new inexpensive glass that we're seeing from a number of Chinese manufacturers. So just as a guide, this lens here is £550 plus VAT.
Okay.
We also sell lenses that are £3,500 each. We also sell lenses that are £30,000 each. So cinema lenses can vary quite wildly, but there's never been a better time to get into that world because there are so many good quality budget options out there like this Thypoc.
Amazing. So for someone who perhaps uses a camera that has an APS-C sensor, for example, a Sony a6500, are they able to use these cine lenses?
Sure. So most of the cine lenses that you see here right now are for full frame. Okay. Bear in mind that just like in photo, some cine lenses are designed for smaller sensors. Okay. You say APS-C, I say Super 35 because I'm from the filmmaking background. They're basically the same thing. Okay. I'll give you an example. This is made by Sirei. This is called the Nightwalker. It's a T1.2 lens, so it's really great for low light work. Yeah. However, it's only designed for Super 35mm sensors. You couldn't put it onto your A7 IV, for example. It would have quite a hefty vignette. Okay. So that is something to bear in mind. Okay.
Stuart, recently my Sony a7 IV got a firmware update, and one of the things that was updated was the focus breathing. Right. And I just wanted to ask, coming from photography, I don't really...
What is focus breathing?
I don't really understand what focus breathing is. Sure. And how important is it when it comes to video?
Right. So in video, we can focus during the shot itself. Obviously, in photo, you're going to focus and then you're going to take your photo. Yeah. We might want to use focus creatively to focus from something close to the camera to something far away from the camera. If you use a photo lens, there is a chance that it will breathe. And what that means is it zooms in or it zooms out just slightly. Okay, if you go with a cinema lens, that will have reduced focus breathing. The update for your camera is for lenses that might breathe and it's compensating for it. Okay. Okay.
That sounds super interesting. Now, what other things should I consider when looking at a lens or lenses that I want for my videography kit?
I think this is a good moment to talk about filtration. Mainly because obviously filters can give you different effects. A lot of people use ProMist, which is a really nice way of softening skin tones and giving halation to lights. But the most important thing that a hybrid shooter is going to need on the front of their lens is a variable ND. A variable ND is going to change the amount of light coming through the lens and hitting the sensor. Something to remember about filmmaking is that we fix our shutter speed. If we shoot at 25 frames a second, which is what most people will be doing most of the time, we fix our shutter speed at 1/50th of a second.
So it's double?
That's kind of a rule. Okay. Yeah, that's kind of a rule. It does change when you get into the high speed side of things. Okay. But for everyday shooting, 50 frames a second, 25 frames a second, yeah, basically your shutter speed is double what your frame rate is. Okay. So the thing that we need to remember with that is that we're not going to be able to control exposure using shutter speed anymore because it's fixed to one level. Okay. We also don't want to change our ISO too often because we're going to get different grain structures from shot to shot. Yeah. Moreover, you don't really want to change your aperture during the shot because it will either get darker or it will change your depth of field. So what we're left with is controlling how much light's coming through the camera. and that means that we're going to have to use a variable ND. So what this is basically two polarizers stuck together, and when you turn them, it changes the amount of light that comes through the camera. This is one of the most useful things that you'll buy, and it's an absolute must-have for anyone shooting video with their hybrid camera.
Oh, well, thank you so much, Stuart, for talking us through the lenses. I definitely need to get myself one of those variable ND filters then. Yeah. Thank you for watching the video up to this point. I hope you enjoyed it and you've learned something about lenses, from our photography lenses to our cine lenses. Watch out for part 3, where we're talking audio and a few accessories.